it's 0 comma, the b is a 3. So I have a known point of 0, 3, and I have a rise of -2, a run of 1, or a rise of 2, a run of -1. Now if I go to 0, 3, 0 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3 in the y direction, that is on my y-axis, so I can verify that is my y-intercept. From this point, my first slope tells me rise of -2, run of +1. Coming back to my known point of 0, 3, I do a rise of 2 and a run of -1, so we have to go to the left there. Now those 3 points should be in a straight line, and if they're not, that should be a clue to you that you've done something wrong, and you should go back and check how you were graphing these. And there's my graphed line using the slope intercept form to graph. Now we'd like to write an equation using the slope intercept form, and I know my slope is -5/2 and a coordinate on my line is 0, 3, and I can graph that really quickly now. If I go 0 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3 in the y direction, and I can find one point by going -5, 2, 3, 4, and a +2, and the other point by going a +5 and a -2. Now I can graph this line. I don't really have to graph it to find the equation, but for some people that'll really help for you to see it and see what it looks like. I know that my slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and I know my slope is -5/2, that's my m, and my y-intercept starts with a 0, 0, 3, and that 3 is going to be my b. So I can write my equation by y equals -5/2 x plus 3. And there's my equation in slope intercept form. Now that worked really well because I actually had a y-intercept, and you have to make sure that you have that to be able to use this form. What if I just have a graph and I don't have the slope and I don't have the y-intercept, but it looks like when I look at the graph there is a y-intercept known, and I can probably use that and also find a slope. So I need a y-intercept to write my equation. So it's 0 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the y direction. And then from that known point I can count down to my other known point and figure out my slope. So from here I have to do a rise, always the y direction first, rise of -2. And once I get to there, a run of 1. So it's a -2 for the slope. So y equals mx plus b, so y equals -2x plus 4. Remember, my number there is the b part on my y-intercept. So there's my equation for this line that's graphed. Alright, it's your turn. Try this one out. Okay. So first thing I'm looking for is, do I know my y-intercept? And yes, there is a point right there, so I want to figure out 0 in the x direction, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, -5 is my y-intercept, and from there I can count up to this other point. I have to go in the rise direction first, always the y direction first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So +8. And then a +1, 2, 3, 4. And if I reduce that, I have a 2. So my slope is a 2. So if I use the y equals mx plus b form, I would have y equals, my m is a 2, and my b is, well, it would be plus, but it's a -5, so I'll just put 2x minus 5. And there's the equation for this line here. There's another one to try. See if you can find the equation. This one's a little different, not very much, but it has a y-intercept of 0, 0. So 0, 0 is the place where we cross the y-axis. And from here, if I want to count between these two known points to find my slope, I have a rise of -1, -2. And and a run of positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So rise over run. And when I reduce that, I have negative 1/2. That's my slope. So in the y equals mx plus b form, I have y equals negative 1/2 x plus 0. Now I don't need to show a plus 0, so I will just write that as y equals negative 1/2 x. And that's all I need to show. The last one, see if you can figure out the challenge problem. My y-intercept is 0, 2. And from there I want to figure out what is this slope. I can tell by looking that it's negative. So I should expect to have a negative slope. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. And this just can be written as negative 9/4. Y equals mx plus b form again. And I have y equals negative 9/4 x plus, and my b is a 2. So there's the equation of the line. Not that challenging when we know what we're doing.